Hello, and welcome back to the Cade and Joaquin Talk at You podcast. This week we have a special guest because Joaquin has yet again gone out on a fishing vessel. That's what happens when he's gone. So this week we have Isaac joining us on the podcast.
Shalom.
Isaac is an acclaimed author of the Game of Thrones series.
Yeah.
You created
just 3 of them.
How was creating Jon Snow?
He's a hard character, you know. He is basically exactly like every other protagonist from most every series that's ever been written.
And now the fans are clamoring.
There is so much more hair left on that.
On this microphone, it's disgusting. I don't know what happened. It's because I've been gone for a week, I guess. The fans are clamoring to know. Jason Momoa's penis. Big?
Let me tell you, guy. It's not big. It's monstrous.
I don't understand why everyone was so mean to him when they saw him in the Fast and the Furious trailer.
He was in the Fast and the Furious?
He's in Fast X. He's the bad guy in Fast X. He's like, you have your family, but you took away my chance at having a family.
I'll tell you what. Love Jason. Know him very personally. Had no idea there was a new Fast and the Furious coming out.
I think it comes out in April.
Jesus
It's the beginning of the end of the road.
Isn't that what they said at like 8?
Yeah, but then they're making 12.
Huh?
There's going to be 12 of them.
Jesus.
I don't know if they're making any more spin-offs, though.
Good call.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I love them. I've seen all of them.
Still, only seen like half. And it's like every other one, too. There's no consistency.
I wouldn't say they're a necessary catch-em-all.
Well, it is Fast and the Furious. It's just cars and explosions.
You go in, you have a good time, and you're always surprised that Charlize Theron is there.
Is she in the Fast and Furious?
Yeah, she's been in them since like 7.
What the fuck?
She's the main bad guy.
Word.
For some reason, for this whole conversation, I've been picturing Cate Blanchett. I don't know why.
Sure, close enough. We'll call it.
That was the connection I had in my brain.
The connections you have in your brain at any given moment don't make sense. So I don't know why I'm going to act surprised at this one.
Yeah. So, Isaac, this is the first time that you've been on the podcast set since it was upgraded to an actual set with lights and a couch.
So true.
How do you feel? It's fascinating to me because of your body language. You're facing outward towards the lights because me and Joaquin have fully adjusted to where we like face away from them. Because for the first couple episodes, we would keep getting glances at the light. I was like, you were looking like this, which means that those lights are right in your fucking vision.
Every time I stopped looking at you, I tried to look directly in the middle of them, and all that does is make it so my left eye is fully blinded by that one and right eye fully blinded by the other.
That's so fun.
So I believe I will switch full kilter.
Good.
Off kilter.
I said a phrase that wasn't that wild to Joaquin recently. What for? I said, what for?
That's a normal turn of phrase.
And he was just like, where do you get these expressions?
Where do you get what for?
What for was a little wild to me.
What?
Because I'm currently on another big 40s and 50s movies kick. Because I watched The Philadelphia Story and then Roman Holiday.
As you do.
Great films. I was watching Roman Holiday, which stars Audrey Hepburn. I was watching it and the main woman was Audrey Hepburn. And I was looking at her and I was like, is that Audrey Hepburn? Or is it a different lady? She has not entered the movie yet.
I will say this. I've only watched 2 or 3 films with Audrey Hepburn. Didn't know it was her for any of them.
She had a different haircut that showed off her forehead, and for some reason that threw me for a loop.
Oh, she got a big-ass forehead?
No, I'm just so used to her with bangs. Like, halfway through the movie, she gets a haircut with bangs, and I was like, oh, it is Audrey Hepburn. It was a weird little, like, clicking. I also didn't know that her and Katharine Hepburn were not related.
Is this like a Guillermo and who's the other Del Toro?
Benicio.
Benicio! Not related. Fully different countries.
When you said Guillermo, I was like, is this going to be a thing about Jimmy Fallon's friend?
Who?
The guy who helps Jimmy... One of the Jimmys.
That guy's name's Guillermo?
I don't know. There's one guy on one of the late night shows whose name is Guillermo. I don't know which Jimmy he's for, though.
I only know Conan.
I only know Conan as well. Andy.
Andy, that's his name, yeah.
Andy was an 80 for Brady.
Why? As himself?
No, as a rich billionaire, he loses money to Rita Morano.
What the fuck? Hey, you want to know what else Andy was in? Celebrity fucking Jeopardy. And he was killing that shit, and then Simu Liu's head ass fucking came in at Final Jeopardy and stole it from him. I'll never fucking settle for less than Andy.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Bring back
Jeopardy,
Andy.
You heard it here first. Bring him back.
I think you'd be a great Jeopardy host.
You think that is a great Jeopardy host?
Yes.
I'll take it.
I think that you're not biased.
Of course not.
And you wouldn't just give anyone points.
I mean, Andy starts out with a little bit
more.
Extra,
he starts with 10,000 points. Yeah. I don't know how many points you can get in Jeopardy.
A lot.
A lot? Okay.
A lot.
I've never watched it.
I mean, there's that guy that hosts it now.
Is it LeVar Burton?
Maybe I'm really behind.
I remember they were... I love saying that for Jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm really behind on Jeopardy. I need to pick it back up.
I haven't gotten the lore. I'm still in the pre-Alex Trebek era.
I don't think LeVar Burton's the guy.
I remember that he was like... He said, I want to do it. Like, he was campaigning. He was super into it. And then they were like, we're just having people rotate right now. And he's like, let me do it. I want to host your show.
I'll do it for $0. I just want to be there. I think LeVar Burton made sense. Isn't he the guy from...
He's from Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow. That's what's called. I can see that.
He has that calming educational presence. Something I'm trying to figure out how to make into the podcast is an episode which is Wheel of Fortune.
Absolutely.
I love the idea. Since we did Hot Ones, I think it would be very fun to do many different game shows.
I super love this idea. I think, well, like we've talked about, Joaquin wants to host everything.
Yes.
Which defeats the purpose of it being you and him against each other.
Yeah, if you're out there, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify, go to the YouTube and give your honest, commented opinion about Joaquin hosting the game show ones, because I find it strange. I love his enthusiasm for it. It just is so confusing to me because it does defeat the purpose of this being him and Maya's podcast. I say on an episode where he's not here.
Well, you know.
We had extenuating circumstances. That shrimp boat really needed help.
Yeah.
He had an idea many years ago that I don't know if it's my place to share. But it was about a pontoon plane, and he was like, "Why doesn't it just drop the net or whatever? It looks like a potato in the air." I don't.
What?
His uncle was talking to me about this. I don't remember enough of it. I thought I did when I started. I do not.
His idea is, what's the idea? Just a pontoon plane?
A pontoon plane that drops the cargo, has a better system for carrying the cargo for pontooning.
Joaquin would care about some boring shit like that. No, I'm kidding. I love it.
He didn't care about it. He was so invested. He was like 12 when he came up with that.
Oh, that makes more sense. We all have grand ideas as 12-year-olds.
I had the best ideas when I was 12, like my parents' divorce.
Hey, great minds think alike.
I really... We're the real facilitators of those. Anyway, I think I meant to ask you a question about how does it feel to be on this side of the podcast with the cameras rolling, the lights on, being looking
yes. Spot. The lights are belligerent and oppressive.
Yeah, they're bright.
We should cancel them. I think I have to really go full opposite direction if I'm going to take Joaquin's place.
Okay. Opposite of what? Of you or of Joaquin? What's the yang to you and what's the yin to Joaquin?
Be real. I didn't expect you to question this too hard.
Isaac, I question everything because this is an hour-long podcast where it has to be filled to the brim with talking.
Yeah, which is, now that I'm here, I'm realizing I don't talk that much. So that's fun. Goofy little...
It's a goofy little choice.
Goofy little gaff.
But we need to have your own solo episode. Not by yourself. I meant,
okay. Yeah.
Because you've never been on just you and someone else.
Yeah. Chloe, Hot Ones. That's it.
I was fucking devastated when your file got corrupted for Hot Ones.
It didn't bother me until the episode came out. Because you let me know beforehand. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, the focus is all of y'all, not me. And then it came out and I was like, I'm a little sad.
Well, the other thing was I generally don't have editing ideas for the podcast because it's an audio medium. Yeah. But that one was a very visual episode.
Absolutely.
So in my head, I was like, I know it's going to start on that shot of Isaac. It's going to slow pan in just like they do with Sean Evans.
Yeah.
And then I didn't fucking get to do it. And I was devastated.
Well, one day when you're on Hot Ones, I'm sure they'll let you edit for them.
Yeah, I'll go in
your episode.
I'll go in the editing bay and I'll say, let me touch everything. And then I'll corrupt all the servers.
Do you think... in all likelihood, do you think your Hot Ones would be... How do you think that would go for you?
I think I'd have to wear a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Because when I got so sweaty, I've been watching a lot more Hot Ones since we did our Hot Ones.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them, and I'm like, where's your sweat? Paul Dano was the closest, and even he was not that sweaty.
I was just about to say, Paul Dano... Shaq, or some other pasty white motherfucker I'm trying to think of that I can't remember. There's been a few that like just get drenched.
Yes.
Even them, nothing to you.
I looked like I jumped in a pool. I'm like, I'm gonna have to show up wearing a hat.
A hat? What's the hat gonna do? What the fuck?
Some people won't see. My hair matted to me.
Oh.
Cause they can't do like makeup. I assume they have like cuts for makeup. If they're sweating a lot, they're like, let me clean you up. Nothing can be done for me. We have to come up with alternative solutions.
Yeah. Easy enough. Just give you a shower in between each one.
I have a plan. I'm gonna bring a sandwich. Cause I feel like
what is a sandwich gonna do?
It's gonna neutralize the hot.
A sandwich?
Yeah. It's my big plan.
Okay.
Do you think it's gross to eat chicken nuggets with regular mustard?
No.
Okay.
What else are you gonna eat them with? Ketchup? That shit's fucking gross.
That's really gross. But
super gross.
We got gas station chicken nuggets the other day.
Okay.
Because we were stuck in traffic for 8 hours.
Valid.
I'll share that story next time Joaquin's on. And we got the chicken, and I wanted regular mustard because it's stronger, so it will musk the taste. But Shogun was like, "That's fucking gross." And she couldn't explain why.
I know Shogun isn't gonna talk smack about eating weird stuff.
What do you mean?
Shogun eats weird shit.
Such as?
Honestly, nothing that weird. It's just all organic. It's just not poison.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
But this is America.
Everything's poison.
Everything's poison.
I was shared a story recently about Poppy where he was on a trip and they were flying and they were given bags of food at the beginning of this trip. And then like hours passed and he hadn't eaten it yet. And then they were on this plane and he opened it up and inside was a banana and some yogurt, which had gone from cold to very hot. And he started eating it on the plane. And this little girl behind her kept going, "Mommy, what's that smell?" And her mom was like, "Shh, don't talk." She's like, "But mommy, what's that smell?" Poppy was just having a great time eating that hot yogurt.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. It's crazy because he can't taste. My Poppy can't taste. But you'd think that texturally hot yogurt would be terrible.
You know, curdled and solid. I think even a warm banana is maybe not ideal.
I don't want a cold banana. Like I don't put my bananas in the fridge.
Me neither, but room temperature. The idea of eating a banana at anything other than room temperature makes me want to vomit. Yes. Cold or hot.
It's pretty gross.
Although, well, I don't know. People be making like
hot fudge sundae.
Hot fudge. What is that?
You put the bananas on the
cold
side. Yeah.
No, that's a banana split.
Oops.
Now I really don't remember what the point was gonna be.
Ksenia keeps finding pictures of Poppy and sending them to me. Be like, "Is this your grandpa?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Pictures from where?
Places.
Where are you finding these?
She just stumbles upon them.
That's insane. One thing about being on this side.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
It is?
Like I said, I don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
Having to talk every empty space, like, it's insane.
You have to really develop the skill.
It hurts my chest a little.
That's very strange. Joaquin is at the point where quite often, and this has been left in many podcasts, where he's saying that he's bored.
Okay, hold on. I didn't want to say anything. Joaquin, you're probably not even going to watch this shit. What is up with that? He just seems so done. Like every other episode, and I'm like, dude, you have 20 minutes left. You need to pick it back up. You are only halfway. Come on, man.
Speaking of being only halfway, how long do you think we've been going so far?
Like, I hope like 30, 40 minutes.
You've only been going for 20.
Oh my God. I'm going to run out of words in my vocabulary to use.
It's a lot. Imagine this. Cade and Joaquin are like 16. They're sitting in a small desk with clothes around them, playing video games for 6 hours and having to talk the whole time.
6 hours.
We used to do this for 6 hours.
Dude, I'm going to be real. I'm so glad that me and you, our gaming channel did not
it didn't take
stand the test of time. I could not do that.
It's so much talking.
I don't know how Joaquin does it. He doesn't. Well, Joaquin does talk.
He talks. Yeah, he talks a good amount.
Talks a lot.
We have trained, or I have trained him. He said this. He's like, "You've trained me to talk ad nauseum." Not his words, mine. On nothing.
I'd be surprised if he knew what ad nauseum meant. But yeah.
Joaquin, we're calling out your vocabulary.
Applicable.
Today's the episode where we beat up Joaquin.
Yeah.
Let's go break into his work and beat him up.
Remember how you became Joaquin's friend, to my knowledge, from wanting him to be in a Jason Todd short film?
Yes.
I think about that really often.
That was a really interesting point in our filmmaking career. That'll be an interesting little pivot here. Because in freshman year, I don't think I've ever talked about this. One of our biggest inspirations ever was Ismahawka, an older YouTube channel where they create a lot of superhero short films. Now they go,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Actually, good for them.
Good for them. They seem to be thriving.
Yeah, they're thriving. We just miss them.
Yeah, we miss them desperately. But in freshman year, for some reason, we had the idea. For some reason, doesn't make sense. We had the idea that we could be like them, which is insane.
Yeah.
At freshman year, we were like, we can make action scenes, we can do comic book stuff. No.
Yeah.
Looking
not
back,
even close.
No.
Not even. I remember we wanted to do a Teen Titans thing, and some of the ideas we had,
insane.
We couldn't probably do now.
No, I remember we wanted to do something with Green Lantern.
Yeah. Oh my fucking God. Yeah.
We couldn't do that unless one of us learned like Maya.
Unlikely.
None of them would have worked. Because also I'm looking back on it and I'm just thinking because writing those would have been hard and they would have been bad.
Well, here's the thing. I think anything at that age,
bad.
Yep. Just bad. I remember there's stuff that I sent you in high school that I came across a couple months ago.
I was
absolutely horrendous.
I'm excited. One day I'm going to go back and reread the original draft of the feature we're making this summer.
Oh, dude, have you not yet?
I haven't.
Since that first table read?
Since the first table read, I have not gone back and reread the first draft.
It's insane.
It's
so fucking different. Like, all the bones are still the same. Not even.
No.
Final third of it?
Different entirely. I reworked the whole third act. I don't know why I'm being secretive about it. I always feel, especially on the podcast, I feel weird sharing a lot of information about the film, even though it's our film.
Yeah.
There's no, like, NDA with a big... studio.
Go watch the film.
Yeah.
It's not going to be out.
It won't. Eventually, we're going to be advertising Indiegogo's Kickstarter thing on this. So if you have some money you want to donate to that, that'd be cool. Give us your money. You remember when I said that at the end of the tin can video after I had gone through hell? I went, give us money.
Man, y'all need to start doing more of that type of shit again.
That's why we made that one video the other day.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
I think, let me be clear, I love the video we just made.
Yeah.
With everyone
We
around.
made Ratatouille, but for real. You'll see it soon-ish. I don't fucking know when you'll see it.
I think in order for ideas like that to come to fruition as they need to and should, for how good the idea is, Joaquin needs to be more on board with it. Because it was pretty quick into it that I could tell he was not having fun. Maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, he didn't love that idea. I was a big fan. That's why we kept rotating people. And then at the end, Joaquin's just not in it anymore.
Well,
but also, I love that idea. I'm excited for people to see it. I think that going forward, when we do that kind of stuff, we need to make it a bigger production because we're really good, I think, at helming productions. And if we treat it like a TV show, I think that would be very cool.
That's what I did notice too. Like even doing the Ratatouille, like towards the end, it just started to like fall into. This is why I can't be on the podcast.
Chaos and despair.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to our filmmaking, our gurney.
Gurney. Cool. Mm-hmm.
That's a Paul Rudd joke from Wet Hot American Summer, which is one of the funniest. Wet Hot American Summer is fucking hilarious. There's a part where he's talking, one of the main characters is talking to someone. He's like, all right, I'm going to go catch up with the boys. And then it pans over and all these dudes are just staring at a wall.
What?
Their face is right next to the wall and he runs over and then he just goes, he just stands there. It's so...
I need to get on that. I'm going to be real.
So funny.
Wet Hot American Summer, I always had the perception of like American Pie level, like that type of comedy.
Based off the title, I get that.
But I guess I need to...
It's fucking hilarious.
Expand my horizons. Have you ever seen 500 Days of Summer?
No, I still haven't.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I used to fucking love that movie. Wow, is the main character kind of just an incel. He sucks. He's so terrible. He's annoying as fuck.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's still a great movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Incels can have good movies, too.
Well,
I'm curious, just because now I'm thinking about things. What do you remember when I came to you with the idea for Thursday the 12th, our first short film? Like, do you remember when I came to you? What was your opinion?
I don't really remember when you first came to me about it. I do remember when you first told me about it. I was like, this doesn't seem like, why is this what you want to do? It definitely, it felt not really your style. Because we were so young, like, you didn't really have a style yet. Yeah. I just knew what we had talked about, which was more like that Ismahawk type content.
Very action focused.
Still comedic, but like...
Now, interestingly, I'm terrified to direct an action scene.
I know. Just talking about the one that's coming in the... it does feel weird to talk about details.
There's an action scene in our future film. Right, it does.
It exists.
It exists. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, it's... scratch that.
There's literally no fucking reason we can't say anything. There's no
feels
reason.
Wrong, though.
It does!
I get it. Does Joaquin... Has he...
We haven't talked about it on the podcast. That's the thing.
Fair. Scratch all of that.
No, continue. It's okay.
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th.
And then we started making, like, you sent me the script and shit, and I was like, nah, this is good. I like it.
That's awesome.
It was an immediate 180 of, I don't know about that big guy, to, you could fucking do anything.
That's very funny.
It'll be good.
I remember sitting in Spanish class and hand formatting it for script format in Google Docs.
That's horrendous.
That's how I used to write my scripts.
That's so gross.
I think our first 2 short films, I wrote in Google Docs, hand formatting it to script format.
I guess I do remember that. Yeah, Parade Float 2, right?
I think so, yeah.
That take fucking forever.
At first it did, but then, because I also wrote like scripts just for fun.
Yeah.
So I got really quick at it.
That makes sense.
But when I upgraded to an actual screenwriting software, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, just the auto ass.
Yeah, like, just going boom, 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 boom. Yep. I was like, oh my God, the page is done.
Does it all for you.
I was blown away.
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th. Good. I love that film.
Truly, I'm not sure we could ever make anything that I'll love more than Thursday 12th. It's so
special
memory
to me, especially since that was our first film festival.
Absolutely.
Our first experience was getting out on our own to do something.
Yeah.
It was our first ever, because also the crazy thing about Thursday the 12th is that it was the one project where no one believed in us. Literally no one believed in us.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Not a single person
Even your mom, who's now the most supportive motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah. She was like, nope, that's not going to work out. I don't know what they're doing. I remember showing it to my mom in the kitchen for the first time after I did the full edit, when I was like locked on edit.
Yeah.
And she was fucking blown away. And she's like, let's watch it again. And we watched it like 3 times in a row.
That's amazing. I love that story. You've told that story to me maybe 8-9 times. It feels brand fucking new every time. I love that story.
It's such a nice like culmination. I don't know if I shared this on the podcast. When we went to the film festival, this was truly probably the most terrifying experience of my entire life. Because we were sat in this bar and we got there a little early.
Oh God, yeah.
And we thought, probably not a lot of people are going to show up to this. And then the fucking bar was packed shoulder to shoulder. And I was like, oh my fuck. People are going to watch my movie in here. And then there was, the screening started, we were like the 7th film.
Yeah.
And film 2 or 3 was a different mockumentary. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking at you and you and me were like, oh fuck. What are we going to do? And then people didn't laugh or really have big responses to a lot of the other films. Then our film came on. And the fucking crowd was on fire.
Absolutely lost it.
They were laughing so hard. They were cheering. I was like, oh my God, we did it.
Absolutely. And especially too, like, I didn't even get that worried. Like, I think we might have had different looks that we were giving each other, and it just fed into each other's thing, even though, because we didn't know. I was more worried that, like, as opposed to like ours being better or worse or anything like that, I was worried that the crowd was just gonna suck and be dead, because especially after the first couple, they were given nothing.
I remember showing it to my family at my grandparents' 50th anniversary, and you could hear a fucking pin drop. And that's when it was already accepted into the festival, and I was like, oh my God, we've made a bad movie. Oh my God, we're going to bomb. And then we were there, and it was the greatest payoff of all time.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, I would say I'm mildly perceptive. Most of the time, I'm still pretty focused on what my thoughts are. But in that moment, I had no perception of you or Joaquin. I didn't even know if you were there still. I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
I remember at the end of that, you got asked to like walk up and talk about it.
Yes.
And you looked at me and Joaquin, and I've never seen you more scared in my entire life. We're talking about the sweat from Hot Ones, dude.
Yeah.
You were fucking soaked.
I was terrified.
In the middle of fall. It was like 40 degrees.
It was cold.
Max.
I think there was snow on the ground there.
Was there really? Oh, yeah, it was. In the mountains.
And I remember when they said, all right, we have a couple of the filmmakers here. They can come up and speak. I was like... Because I consider myself pretty good at public speaking. I'll be honest. But in that moment, I was like, I don't want to go up. Oh, don't make me go up there. Oh. And there's this image that I still have in my phone. I'll throw it up on the YouTube version where I look like I'm gonna vomit. I straight up look. Every part of my body language is I hate that I'm up here right now.
The best part about it, you looked like that the whole time.
Yep.
There was no part of it where you looked comfortable.
No, I was so scared. And then walking out, people were like, how old are you? I remember that was the big question we got asked. I got asked that a lot, and I think I was 17 or 18 at that time. And they were like...
You might have been younger than that, man.
You think I was 16? We were young.
We were young.
And I remember them coming up and asking that, and I was like, this is crazy. And then when we got in the car, I remember uncontrollably shaking like I was in an earthquake. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I remember you looking at me and like nervously laughing.
I was worried about you driving after we got out of that bar because you like couldn't hold it together.
Yeah.
I mean, understandably. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
It's
Thursday
crazy.
the 12th, man. What a great
experience.
thing.
I'm curious now what your perception was when I came to you with Parade Float.
Okay, so Parade Float, very different experience because like, you know, Thursday the 12th, it was like you almost like earned you had my trust, but you earned my like the assumption of success. Mm-hmm. And then Parade Float came around, I was like, oh, we've been through this shit before. Yeah, we got it. I don't care. You could put anything in this script and it'll work. And then I read it and I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do to make that work? What? Are you serious?
Parade Float was an insane jump for Thursday the 12th.
We're going from mockumentary with like $100 maybe of props and budget and such to fucking this?
Yeah, it was a big jump.
And I had to build a Parade Float.
I'm very glad we did it, though.
Me too.
Because I feel like that was the one where we learned the most.
Absolutely. I don't think if we did literally anything less than that, we would have learned, well, kind of anything.
I do think now, I cherish Parade Float. It's our worst film.
I agree. I agree.
There's a lot of errors in it.
I think...
Because we just didn't know. We were also still learning this stuff.
I think technically, definitely our worst film. Still not my least favorite. Actually, we can talk about that later. I don't know. Maybe that comes off a weird way saying it on the podcast.
I'm curious.
I think Immortality is actually my least favorite.
Really?
Yes, even though I think it's technically our best work.
Uh-huh.
But that's because of...
You had a personal...
Well, yeah, it's hard being a part of the films and like seeing them after the fact. And I'm like, that's a very good thing.
Yeah.
And then thinking about like being a part of it, and I'm like, damn, I feel bad for y'all. I sucked. I was useless as fuck on Immortality.
I remember Camilla specifically. You basically became Camilla's assistant on that film, where she just like do this, and you were like, yep, got it.
And I was more than happy to fill that role because I was not useful for much more than that.
It was very helpful though.
Yeah.
I will say, and I do find this amazing, Parade Float is the only experience in our entire 15 years of friendship, going on 16, where we had a fight.
Really?
Yes. We had one. It was the shot where we were pushing out the Parade Float into right next to those RVs, and you and me had a fight.
Yeah, we did. We had a little bit of a...
We had an actual spat, because I remember doing that scene. I was like, okay, it was really good for the scene because you and me needed to be mad at each other in the scene.
Very true.
But also, I remember we talked about it for like 10 minutes, and it was an actual argument. I remember ending it with, I'm the director, we're going to do what I say. And that's a crazy thing to say.
It was a crazy thing to say, and still, I'll say this. You were right, first of all. Like, you were right in the argument, and you were the director.
The crazy thing is, I don't remember the argument, and I feel bad that we argued.
It was literally the argument. The whole argument was fucking pointless because it was just a misunderstanding based on what we had already shot. Like, I was just confused because I thought we had already shot what you were trying to get us to shoot it in. I'm like, dude, we did this like 7 times. Why are you making us fucking do this fill-in shot? And you're like, we're doing an entire scene. What are you talking about right now?
I feel so terrible in my stomach that we had that fight. We haven't had that experience before or since.
I think the closest thing to like an actual fight is probably Clue Night, and even then, I wouldn't. I mean, there was no fight.
There was no
we didn't
fight.
Say anything.
Yeah.
We didn't exchange words or blows.
No, I was just because I think about that. I'm like, that was insane.
I will say, really fucked up of you to pull the director card, though.
Right? I hate that I did that.
I love it because I mean, you were right. Like, it doesn't matter if I disagree. You were in charge.
It was such a diva moment.
I know.
I don't like it.
Spicy of you.
I do not like it. I do not like considering myself a diva.
You are a little bit of a diva.
Do you think
it comes out on set? Yeah.
I become real. I've realized this. The more focused I am on being a good director, the less good I am at being good at humaning. I was going to say good person, but I feel like I'm still an okay person.
Yeah, I don't think we need to make moral judgments off of it. But
I was thinking about it. Joaquin said a joke on immortality. Well, I was just grabbing materials, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He said the joke again. I was like, I don't believe that would ever happen. I'm still trying to find my balance for it.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten better and better with each project, but still, I get so lost in the sauce, as they say.
Lost in the sauce. Bring it back. Great phrase.
Great phrase. That and awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. Love it. Classic. Can never fail.
Never fail.
It doesn't matter. Probably too sentimental to go on the podcast anyway.
Who's to say? This is a show called Talk At You. You just gotta fucking deal with it.
Yeah, fucking deal with it.
I don't care if you're at home crying to your mommy about how we made fun of how Bluey should have gone to middle school instead of skipping the grades and going to high school.
And you know what? I also watch Bluey.
The other thing about Parade Float, I think that the only reason that we did argue on that is because we were up all the time. You and me were both working around the clock, basically.
Yeah.
What we would do, you would go work for my dad building during the day. I would go home and edit YouTube children's videos all day. So we would, I think both you and me collectively, 4 hours of sleep each night.
Maybe. At most.
And we shot for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We shot for
most of the week each week too. Like it was a big
production where we definitely should have figured it out better because it's only a 30-minute film. We probably could have done it in a shorter amount of time, but we didn't know.
Also worth noting though, there was some people that said they were available that kept only being available for like 30 minutes at a time.
Correct, and that sure threw a fucking wrench in the plan.
Didn't it? I think we could have shot that in literally half as much time.
I agree. I think we could have done it in a week and a half.
You know.
I remember the first. Do you remember the first day of shooting Parade Float?
Was that the slideshow scene?
It was the slideshow scene and the scene where Harriet comes to the front door.
Yes, I do remember.
I remember thinking, because that was crazy, because for most of that day it was just you and me.
Yeah.
We were getting all the props together. We were filming those scenes. It was insane, so cool. And I remember it was like 1 a.m. when we shot that slideshow scene.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is insane. This is so crazy that we're doing this right now.
I remember, I'm going to be real. The only thing I can remember, because that was also my first time acting. Well, I mean, Thursday the 12th, I'm like...
I consider you an actor on that because you had to play multiple characters. You played cameraman, either Tim or Alan, which was not a conscious effort to name two characters Tim Allen. But I'm so glad it happened. And then you were Michael Myers. Parade Float was your first, like, in front of the camera acting.
In front of the camera, like, also having to, like, do anything more than just a blanket general delivery of a line.
Yeah.
With no emotion or, like...
Or breathing.
Well, hey. Sometimes I don't breathe.
Yeah.
It's hard. So all I remember from that first day of shooting was just, like, losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely shitting myself. Just the worst... anxiety ever.
Do you remember I saw a picture of us from Parade Float last night where, like, seeing me with that mustache is hilarious.
I think it holds up.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like a real mustache now to me.
It does.
I'm curious. I don't remember, and you might remember. Did I write John, your character in Parade Float, and then say, will you play this character, or did you ask to act in it?
Oh, I asked if I could act in the next thing, like in a bigger than Thursday the 12th aspect. And you're like, yeah, I got you. We can fit you in some small role. Because I asked for a small like role just because I'm a little interested in acting, but obviously not that great at it yet. And I have anxiety. But then you sent me the script, and you're like, okay, John is the one I wrote for you. And I was like, dude, this is the second most lines in the script. Why? What the fuck?
It got out of hand.
And then we did have a little conversation about it. And you're like, do you want me to write you a smaller part, or like give you one of the like Kevin or
Levi? I don't remember.
Jacob maybe.
I can't.
Why can't I remember that one?
Once the film is not on my brain, I won't remember any characters' names.
Yeah. But yeah, you asked me, I was like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could do it. And then you were like, no, I think you got it, man.
I did. I had a lot of faith in you.
And you had like a lot of vote of confidence in me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I got this shit. And then I did it.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Making that film, I think, is one of the most crucial filmmaking experiences that we've had.
100. Definitely like trial by fire, crucible experience.
Because there's some shots in that are really good.
Oh yeah,
but there's other stuff which is not great.
Yeah, also our just basic continuity ability.
Oh my god,
there's like Bojangles boxes that pop in and out.
Teleport all around. It was also because that shop was an active shop.
Yeah.
So some days there would just be a big pile of wood.
Yep.
And we'd be like, we have to shoot around this big pile of wood that was not here yesterday. I remember when the entrance got blocked and we couldn't shoot that way anymore.
And that was the majority of the shoot.
Yeah.
That was like 2/3 of it.
It was insane. I'm still very proud of it because I'm impressed with our ability to come together and make that.
Absolutely. I think, like we've been saying this whole time, super proud of it. Definitely would not at all be where you are, where we are, otherwise.
I would also like to move on to Immortality when I approached you with that.
Oh. Immortality was like it goes in patterns. Because Immortality was the exact same as Thursday the 12th because we had just done Parade Flow and I was like, what the fuck weird crazy shit are you about to make me do? And then I read it and I was like, we can manage. Okay, thank God. And then we got started and then like obviously my life fell apart, but like
on the side.
Aside from that very personal part of it, even just the production aspect, I did not fucking expect for that coffin to be so goddamn difficult.
I didn't either. For some reason, when I wrote that in the script, I was like, I think that it'll be very feasible to build a coffin.
And you know what? If we did it again, it would be because I am just dumb as shit and made it I was doing like finish level carpentry for a thing that needed to be just the box.
Yep.
Just a flat
It's a good looking coffin though.
Audrey seemed happy with it.
Audrey loves it as her bookshelf.
Got it later.
Yeah, she now has it in her room as an amazing bookshelf. It's really cool. I love that I come to you with an idea. I love that the idea you're like, what the fuck?
Here's the thing. It's always too that like when I have to read it twice. Anytime you send me a script, I read it twice in the same sitting. Because the first time it's like, okay, I like this. This is the bones of some solid fucking storytelling. This will be great. And then I read it the second time thinking about like the details and like how it'll be done. And I'm like, I'm going to shoot myself in the throat. What the fuck are you trying to kill us?
That was the crazy thing, because now I'm curious. We can return to Immortality, or even Parade Float, because I'm sure there's more to tell there. But I'm really curious about when I came to you with the feature film, and we won't go into details about it. But I'm just curious what you thought, because I remember writing it, and I remember when I came with the idea. For some reason, to me, I thought this feels like a really feasible first feature film.
Yeah. I think it really does kind of just follow a pattern because, Thursday 12th, hesitant, like, I don't know if we can do this. Parade Float, oh, we can do this, until I read it. And then Immortality, like, I don't know, man, that last thing you had me do was fucked up.
Yeah.
To then be like, okay, you got me. And then you sent me the feature, and I was like, hey, guy, this is at least a hot 95 minutes worth of content. This is months of shooting and pre-production and post-production. This is a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And then you goofy motherfucker, you got me. Because I remember being very excited to read it, and then in the process of reading, I was like, God, I hope we can make this. This seems really fucking cool and a really fun thing to make.
That's so funny. That's so cool.
And then I did my second read through, and I was like, God, I really hope we don't have to make this. This seems difficult and terrible, and like we're all gonna lose our minds, just like Parade Float.
Has it changed since we've evolved?
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, pretty much immediately past. Once we had our first conversation about it, I think I was much more comfortable. Like I was telling you earlier today, like I'm all in. It doesn't matter how much money we have. It doesn't matter what our means are. We will make the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be there to help you make the thing.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But also, I think that this is crazy because this is the first time that we've worked for a really long time on something already. Because I wrote this script over a year ago now.
God damn. Yeah.
And I ironed it out all of last year to the point where it is now.
Jesus. We finished Parade Float and Immortality in the amount of time it's taken just to start the real pre-production.
The only other thing that took this long was when I made Wrong Address. And that's only because I wrote that film pre-pandemic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I had that film written, and then me and Madeline and Camilla were going to shoot it. Then a fucking pandemic hit, and then everything, we had to wait 2 years, and then I was like, hey, do you guys want to do this? And then I shit my pants. For reals. Then I wrote a second draft, and then we just went and made it. Every other part of that film was made in under a week.
I love that shit in your pants is an integral part of
I love that part of the story. I shit my pants, and then I went and shot an entire short film.
Hey, and you know what? It was a good fucking film.
I'm so proud of Wrong Address. Also, the crazy thing is, I wish that I had 2 cameras for that one, because if we'd done it cross coverage at the end where me and Madeline are talking to each other, so much easier. It would have been so much easier. Because here's the thing. I knew the direction that those lines needed to go. Me and Madeline did not know our lines.
You didn't have like a...
We had a vague... We knew what beats we had to hit for each section of it.
Damn.
Because I had all the lines written, but we just never memorized them.
Also, go off, Madeline.
Impressive. She did so good. There's one line she has where she said she did like a karate kick, and I actively laughed in the take.
It stayed in. That chuckle.
But I had to... The way that we shot that scene was one shot of Madeline where we did all the improv and the whole scene, and then another shot of me after that where we had to redo all the improv similarly.
That's fucked up.
Yes, it was very hard, but very fun. Oof. It was incredible.
I don't know. It's always weird also hearing about Wrong Address because like that one is the only one that doesn't have the what I was talking about earlier where I see them and I'm like, that's good. But then what ends up being my favorites are whatever my favorite filming experience was. That one I just get to enjoy. Like I had nothing to do with that. I just get to be like, this is funny.
I don't even know if you read that script.
No.
That's crazy.
The first you told me the idea of it, but like the first time I saw the story was when it came out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wrong Address I'm so in love with just because it reunited the filmmaking duo of me and Camilla.
Hell yeah.
And I love having Camilla on set.
Dude, frankly, all of the terrible things happening in my life at Immortality, the thing I hate most about that is the fact that I could not like work as well as I should have with Camilla because just the loveliest person ever.
She's so lovely. She's a fucking...
And super good at what she does.
She's so good. If we didn't have Camilla, our films would be much worse.
Yeah. I mean, just look at Parade Float.
I think that Parade Float was a lot of factors.
This is good. I
do think if we color corrected it, it would look better.
That's what I was going to say. I also think there's a few shots in Parade Float where I'm like, dude, you're not even a cinematographer like that, but that's pretty good.
I do love the first shot of the film. Like the pull-up shot.
Yeah.
I love that shot. I think it's very good.
And that was early too. Like we hadn't even really like
the car pulling up. That was the last thing we shot.
No, in the film.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Early in the runtime, not in the filming process.
I understand.
Yeah, good shot. Sets the tone. Yada yada. There was like a more specific thing, but it all boils down to that.
I also think that the crazy thing that we did for that one is the big jump from a mockumentary film to feature narrative.
Yeah.
Which is done with we did more traditional camera setups.
Yeah, I think even aside from just the logistical, like we have to build a fucking parade float.
Why'd you say we?
I don't know. Let me tell you, and this probably will get cut out of the podcast, but I'm already talking about it, so I might as well. I never know what the fuck to say like about the films and stuff because it doesn't like I'm a part of it, but like our little tiff. What keeps happening here that you keep looking? Is it
I just like looking.
Around?
No, I just like looking at your earrings.
Great, they're pretty nice.
I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it. It makes
they
me
look
feel
like Sandman's
fabulous.
mask,
don't they? I love them. What I was saying, like like even throwing back to our little tiff in Parade Float, where you pulled the director card on me. You're the writer director. Like it feels weird to say we for a lot of it. But then also, like, I am there, and like I am not a insignificant part of a lot of them.
Part,
but also, I can't say we. Like, it's not mine; it's yours.
Yeah, but there is many parts that are we. But you just built the parade float by yourself.
That's a good point. I guess if we're talking parade float, I can kind of just be like, I built a parade float.
Yeah, I'm never gonna step in and be like we.
Yeah,
we. Bugs Bunny meme. We. For Parade Float, I'm never gonna say we as a collective built that, or even the coffin for immortality. That was you. That was Isaac did that. Your head. That's why in immortality you're credited as head of construction.
Damn right I am.
Oh fuck! Your camera died. Let me go get. What was your favorite part about shooting Parade Float?
Honestly, even though it definitely sucked a lot, I think it was when we were losing our minds.
Yeah, do you remember one day we were fully losing our minds and I started Joker laughing?
Absolutely. I didn't get quite to your... Like, I don't think I have it in me, like, just as a...
Human?
Yeah, like an affect thing to do, like, a full-on Joker laugh. I remember you started Joker laughing. I looked into your eyes, like, this close.
Yeah.
And then just started cackling with you. What else were we gonna do?
We weren't good on that. I remember watching people look at us from the outside and like look in and be like, "What the fuck?
Oh my god,
what's happening in there?"
I think in retrospect, that's my favorite. At the time, we weren't okay.
No.
It was a bad thing.
It was a very bad time for us.
Oh, you know what? No, I think, quite honestly, my favorite was. I know my favorite experience of getting a shot. My favorite just general experience, like having the most fun, is when we shot the...
I know what shot you're going to say.
Do you really?
Yes.
There's no way.
I know exactly what shot it's going to be.
When we were shooting in the back of the Dodge, rolling up to the door, because it was, one of the more carefree parts of it, early on, like we were really loud, three of us.
Yeah.
And then I also really loved getting... No, man, favorite's hard.
There's
really so
hard.
many. I'm thinking of like 7 different things.
I think the shot that I thought you were going to say is that shot where you had to lay on those metal bars and you were screaming.
Well, guess what, motherfucker? What? That's the second one.
Yeah, I knew it. Isaac had to lay on these metal bars underneath the parade float, and he was like, "Just get the shot!" And then we had to go really quick.
It hurt so bad. It's like doing a plank, but you have sharp metal digging into your chest, your stomach, and your kneecap.
Now, I would also like to talk about what I consider the most frustrating and hardest part of the film, which was working with lapel microphones exclusively, because we didn't have someone running sound like we've had on all our other films. Yeah. We had little mics clipped inside of our shirts that maybe 2 worked. We had 5 of them and 2 worked.
Oh, but hold on, that doesn't even do justice to how terrible it was. It was never the same 2 that worked. It switched every time we opened that box.
Yes. Yeah. That was a nightmare.
I think even more than like, you know, like our little misunderstanding or whatever, or even like losing our mind underneath the desk.
Yeah.
Those microphones made me want to fucking shoot
somebody. They were a nightmare.
I was so upset that we chose to do that.
It made sense logistically since we didn't have enough people.
Yeah.
But practically, we should have figured something else out.
Yeah. And I think even if we had like the one person that couldn't make it, if they had just been there the same amount as everybody else.
Yeah.
I think that would have fixed everything. We would have had enough people that no matter what shot we're getting, we pretty much have someone to hold.
Yeah. I also think a big mistake that we made on that was we didn't actually do any lighting. We just used the shitty in their lights.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would even say we didn't know how to do lighting until...
I'm going to be honest with you. I think we are better off having not had
it would have looked bad.
Yeah, we wouldn't have known what we were doing.
Not at all.
It is weird to think about how janky we have set shit up to do it so far.
Even on our most professional productions, which is, I would say, Immortality.
Absolutely.
Shit is held together with duct tape and string.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite shot on Immortality is the shot where my feet have to stop hovering.
Oh.
And you and Chloe grab me from both sides, and you just pick me up, and then you'd put me back down. And I'd go, okay, a little slower. Like, it was so funny how serious all of us were taking it.
Yeah. I think, man, Immortality sucked for me, but that's a good memory.
That's a great memory.
I think fondly on that night. That was a good one.
That was a great night.
Yeah.
There's also, I remember, this is my favorite moment of being a director I've ever had. And it wasn't even direction I gave. I was watching Audrey do a shot in the kitchen for the one of the first things we shot in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And for her line, the way that she did it is she, instead of starting it, she like had just finished her line. I said my thing. She turned around. She pushed the buttons on the microwave, and then she responded. And I was like, that's fucking movie star material right there. That's how you make a fucking scene.
Yeah.
Like, I was in that moment, I was like, that's in the movie. That shot is in the movie. I don't care if the rest of this scene, this take is unusable. That is in the movie.
I just love Audrey acting.
She's so fun.
First of all, she's a very good actor.
Yes.
I mean, just objectively, but also, I think some of the just funniest and best stuff we caught like off script has been Audrey.
I agree.
Even on Kickflip.
Even on the worst thing ever made, Kickflip.
It'll get made.
It won't.
Hashtag release Kickflip.
No.
Release the Isaac cut.
That's never gonna happen.
I still have it. It's halfway done.
Oh my god.
I should send you some of what I have, like just like the snippets that I have edited together, the rough cuts.
I'm gonna fucking hate that so much.
Dude, when it gets to your one line, can we? No. Is it too embarrassing? Can that be out on the internet forever?
I don't want it yet.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm
not generally embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed by that because I wrote it. I'm so embarrassed by that.
It's rough.
The other crazy thing about Immortality, to switch away from that,
yes,
is there's one line which was supposed to be a direct reference to Young Frankenstein, which was the biggest influence on it.
Yeah.
Which was where Audrey says, "Walk this way."
Mm-hmm.
And originally, she was supposed to like show me how she's walking, but she read the line as "walk." Stop this way. And I was like, that's a great way to read that line. Yeah. That completely changes the way that the scene has to function. And I was like, that's super cool.
I have not even once thought about that. That's really fucking cool. Like I said, Audrey just brings out like really good shit out of the strips.
Do you remember the hardest shot to get on Immortality though?
Hardest.
Yeah, or at least in my opinion, the hardest shot.
No, there's two. I do remember spray painting that hoverboard, and then it didn't do anything. It
didn't do anything. It was a good idea though.
Yeah.
Audrey needed to drop her bike and just run. This was a 10-second.
Oh yeah.
This was like a 5-second shot.
Yeah.
And first, I really over-explained it. I think to Audrey.
I would not add the I think.
I over-explained
it. Really just overcomplicated a very simple action.
It became very hard.
Yeah.
There's also the great, where it took like 15 takes for some reason to get that shot of her dropping the bike and running off. It was very strange. And I take the blame for that. Also,
it happens.
One of my favorite tidbits. We broke my front door making that movie.
We sure did.
When I do that stunt where I just fall down because I can't, that's one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing, is where I can't enter the house and I fall back down.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. and I love it so much.
I love that joke. I loved it a lot more before we shot it because the only thing I could think and feel when we were shooting it is concern, because that is just brick and you almost hit your head a lot of times.
I think that's been the other very interesting thing is my evolution in taste as a consumer of film and what my favorite things are and how that's been translated into our films.
I think I've talked about that with you privately a little bit. I think, especially just like your writing, even past what's made it off the page into a physical picture, just your writing, you can see the progression of taste.
Yeah.
I think I view you as a very like James Gunn sort of storyteller in story approach, not necessarily like filmmaking
where
approach.
I take really funny things and make them horribly sad.
Yes, you are very good at that. I think the only thing I read of yours that to me was sort of the inverse of that, where there was comedy found in a sad situation, or not even sad, but like a dramatic or serious situation. As normally you take the opposite approach is Double Black Diamond. Yeah. That's like the full opposite, and I think truly, once that's gone through like the whole draft process, I think that's going to be the best thing.
I'm excited. That's my second feature film. I have another feature film that I came up with, which is also based on that idea, and then another. I have 3 ideas. I have so many ideas. It's insane. I don't know what my brain does.
I'm excited to hear about and help make all of them. I think your wholesome thing, dude. I think that's fucking hilarious.
I love that idea. I won't go into it yet because this is years away probably, but I'm in love with that idea. One day I hope you get to see it. The other thing that I really noticed, this will be our last topic, our last little bit, because we've been going for a while. I noticed when I got really into physical like acting, like Peter Sellers and Charlie Chaplin, that has really influenced the scripts.
You know what? I hadn't even once thought about that at all, but I see it completely. In retrospect, I see that. That's Peter Sellers in particular completely changed the way that I act. Yeah, I think, I definitely see it. Even just thinking about the shorts from short to short. Yeah.
I like seeing you have this realization.
Yeah. That's good. I haven't thought about that.
Where's it clicking for you? I'm curious.
I mean, especially between Parade Float into Immortality, which, well, I guess technically there's something in between that, but like, in my perception in the background. But I even see just like the slightest jump from Thursday the 12th to Parade Float. That I feel like sort of signals the start of that. Yeah. Because it's also a big time gap between Thursday the 12th
that was
and Parade
3
Float.
years? 2-3 years?
I think two.
Because I look like a different person in between those films. Dude, I know I'm wearing a mask in Thursday the 12th, but I look like a different person in Parade Float.
Dude, I have behind the scenes photos from us doing Thursday the 12th. I mean, only like 5 of them, but we look like babies.
We look like babies.
It's wild.
That was also me at my biggest, I think. When we made Thursday the 12th.
Was that before you? Yeah, that was. Yeah. Damn. Because it's weird to think of you as
large. Yeah. I'm so happy it happened only for Thursday the 12th. Because if I was scrawny Cade, like I have been for most of my life, playing Jason wouldn't have worked as well. Yeah.
I think.
There you go.
Yeah.